Hello everyone! So the topic today is the amazing human body. So we are so familiar with our body, right? But our body is so complicated and so amazing to explore. So let's get started with the lesson. First, let's warm up a little bit by checking your background knowledge. What do you think of these sentences? Are they true or false? Number 1. Your ability to hear is reduced if you eat too much. Or number 2. Men have a better sense of smell than women. Number 3. You are taller in the morning than you are at night. Number 4. Nails and hair continue to grow after we die. And 5. Your brain is more active during the day than at night. 6. Humans are only animals that cry when they're upset. What do you think? Now let's check your answer. Okay, now let's look at the objectives of the lesson. After these lessons, you will be able to reinforce and expand vocabulary related to the topic health and the nouns with the suffix logi, OLOGI or ION. And you can also understand and practice this new skill, identifying main ideas within paragraphs and predicting vocabulary based on the context. Now let's look at the overview. We have two main parts, vocabulary focus and skills focus as usual. Look at the vocabulary focus. We will dig deep into how related vocabulary and the nouns with the suffix logi, ologies, and ion. Okay, as you can see on the picture, can you name this word from the right to the left? And tell me, what does each of these body parts do? So let's look at the function of brain. So brain helps to control the function of the rest of the body, and the heart pumps blood through the body. What about lungs? Lungs exchange CO2 for oxygen or O2. And stomach and intestine help body digest food and get rid of waste. The bone provides the framework for the body, and joints enable limbs and legs to move. So joints help us to move more easily. And as you can see, the skin here is protect the body. So that's the reason why many women want to wear the sunscreen to protect their skin, right? And the muscle contracts and relax so that the body can move more easily. Okay, so now let's look at another vocabulary. I want to choose the best answer and pay attention to word in blue. Okay? That's the new word that you need to remember. Okay, so now let's look at another vocabulary. I want to choose the best answer and pay attention to word in blue. Okay? That's the new word that you need to remember. Now, I want you to practice this word by completing the following sentences with the correct form of the words from the exercises that we just have done. Today we're going to learn about nouns with the suffix logy, ologies, and ion. So normally learning the meaning of the root word or suffixes can help you increase your vocabulary. And today I want to introduce the suffix logy, ologies, and the ion. So when we think about logy or ology, it means study of something. So the word gerontology is made up of the root word geronto, which means the old person. And when we add the suffix logy, it makes the word means the study of the old age or the problems or the disease of old people. Now, let's move to another suffix. It is ion. Ion is one of the most popular suffix in English. Normally, we can find some word with the ending ion, like communicates become communication, or invents become invention. Now, let's have some practice. I wanted to use the suffix ion to change the nouns in the chart to the adjectives. Okay, so we have 6 words. Okay, now let's complete the paragraph below with the correct nouns from practice 6. Okay, so you just learn a lot of vocabulary, right? Now let's move to the skills focus. Today we're going to identify main idea within the paragraphs, and you also know the way to predict vocabulary in the text. First, as you can see, you have learned a lot about, or you have practiced a lot in terms of skimming and scanning skill. And we often use that skill to identify the main idea within the paragraphs. So the main idea is often mentioned in the beginning or concluding sentence of the paragraph. Now let's practice a little bit. You're going to skim the following paragraphs and choose the correct main idea for each paragraph. So for the paragraph 1, I will need about 30 seconds to read and write down the main idea of the paragraph. Now I wanted to read the entire passage carefully. This time you can take time to read the passage, focus in every detail, and then choose the correct answer for the question below. The passage is provided in the next slides. I wanted to answer 4 questions. Number 1, the writer lists facts about our body in paragraph 1 to do ... Number 2, why does the writer say we are unaware of what is happening in our bodies in paragraph 2? For question number 3, doctors who study gerontology focus on, and according to passage, the next task is choose the correct words for question number 4 to number 7. So that is the aim of the first skill. Now we move to the second skill, predicting vocabulary. So as you can see, you can meet a lot of new words when you read the text, right? But by thinking about the topic of a reading and the vocabulary that you expect to see, you can increase your understanding and your fluency in reading. Now let's have some practice with predicting vocabulary. So as you can see on the screen, I have attached a title and a picture. So can you think about the title and guess what you're going to see in the passage? What kind of word are you going to see? Okay, so here are some suggested answers. So when I look at the pictures, I will think about some vocabulary like abilities, study, endurance. So endurance means sự bền bỉ, sight, stress, determination, phenomenon, animals, blind, body, and eyes. So as you can see on the screen, we see that something related to their ears. Maybe he is blind. So how come a blind person can travel on the road? And as you can see, he is skating. That is very difficult for such person like this. So maybe they have a good determination and he has a good endurance to overcome this struggle. Okay, now let's practice reading. I wanted to read the passage carefully and check whether it's true or false. The passage is provided in the next slide. That is also bring me to the end of the lesson today. We have learned a lot about our amazing human body, and the focus of today includes vocabulary and skill. For vocabulary, we have learned some health-related vocabulary, and we also know some words with suffix logy, ology, and ion. And for skills focus, you have learned how to identify main ideas within the paragraph, and you also know how to predict vocabulary based on the reading text.